So China is urging restraint for all parties. And today, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said that Beijing would take relentless efforts to salvage the Iranian nuclear accord. The ministry also added that the U.S. should not abuse its force through military interventionism, and also it dismissed President Trump's threat of sanctions on Iraq, calling them wanton. Now, this is separate to another report that China is supposedly now thinking of sending a delegation to Washington starting on Monday. This would be a 4-day trip ahead of the planned signing of a trade deal with President Trump. The South China Morning Post says the delegation would be led by the Vice Premier Liu He, and that the team had pushed back its travel plans, which originally they thought were going to be earlier in the month, after President Trump had tweeted that the signing would take place on January 15th. Now, the team was apparently caught off guard, according to sources of the SCMP, that President Trump had announced a date, and also that President Trump would himself sign the deal, because the expectation had been that this was going to be signed on a ministerial level, that Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer was going to sign it with Vice Premier Liu He. Now, the Chinese state press has been suggesting that President Xi would not be signing, but that it wouldn't really make so much of a difference. That seems to suggest that the Chinese would want to have a deal signed, and that the timing doesn't necessarily, the timing matters more than who's going to be there. But the messaging, guys, I think would be interesting to the Chinese public, because if they do see President Trump signing a deal with the vice premier, the optics of that to the Chinese public is that the U.S. was more desperate for a deal than China.